You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today, man, we have a special guest for y'all today. We're going to learn all about just good things, good energy, good law of attraction, but just fun things, because she is the contest queen, the one and only Carolyn Wilman. She's on the show with us today, and she's going to kind of talk about everything that she does. We might touch on marketing, social media. Like I said, we're just going to have a good time today. First and foremost, I just want to welcome you, Carolyn, and say how you doing.
Thank you for having me, because I love teaching other people how to win.
I love that. Well, we all are probably turning up the volume right now to listen closely to what you have to say. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you to the show and kind of tell us a little backstory of how you got into all this amazing things you do today, being a contest queen and teaching people law of attraction, mindset, all that other good stuff.
Well, I was actually focusing on my mindset before I even started contesting, which is why I think I was able to believe that I could win. When I was 18, my dad handed me a motivational book, and I wish I could remember which one it was, because I've literally read hundreds since I was 18. And he said to me, if I can teach you at 18 what I learned at 36, you'll be way ahead of me. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s and I found myself unemployed, and I read an article in Reader's Digest about a couple that entered sweepstakes as a hobby, and it really enhanced their lifestyles. And I thought, I can do that. I don't have to work. I'll just win stuff.
That sounds like a good deal right there.
It does not work that way. Believe me, if I could earn my living winning, I would have done it decades ago.
Right.
But it doesn't work that way. However, it can completely enhance your lifestyle. It can completely take you on adventures you can't even imagine. I've made friends for life from this hobby, which is something I never dreamed of when I started entering, because it wouldn't have occurred to me that there was an entire community of people out there that are just, I call it the good crazies, just as crazy as me. You have to be a little bit crazy to sit and enter sweepstakes every day.
See, I would say instead of crazy, I'll say bold, because, it takes boldness.
Bold, I love it.
You can't be a dull person and have fun with this. It sounds like you really have to be a risk taker, but obviously a calculated risk, because not trying to get ahead of this conversation, but you help companies like go viral with their marketing, because you help them with programs and increasing their ROI and their customers being loyal to them.
Well, how that came about was because that's actually why I became good at sweepstakes. So my background, I went to college for business, and my specialty was marketing. So I was doing marketing in the IT industry for decades, and that's why I was unemployed, because I got caught in that dot-com bubble where companies were just bursting, and everybody I knew lost their job, and so that's how I ended up. But what made me good at contesting was I looked at it from a marketer's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was entering with a marketer's eye, I got really good at it, and I was on a winning streak. And when I was trying to figure out my next steps, what was my next career move, and I had this winning streak, someone said to me, you should write a book. And now this is where the law of attraction comes in. This is really interesting. It's when you put stuff out to the universe, it comes back to you, but sometimes in ways you don't expect. So I said, kind of put it out to the universe, like, which way should I go? Like, I'm in a fork of the road. Do I turn left? Do I turn right? I don't know. Kind of help me pick, because I need to follow my path. What I came down to earth to do. Like, what is my purpose here?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to a girlfriend's house to discuss this. And I passed a church, and on the service announcement board, it said, you can't lose helping others win. And as soon as I read that, I knew instantly that I was supposed to write the book. And it was so funny because some people say, oh God, please give me a sign. And I had a literal sign. And this is before everyone carried cell phones with cameras. I never took a picture of it. I wish I had gone home and got my camera and come back and taken a picture of it, but I didn't. But I knew in that moment that was the path I was supposed to take. So I didn't even bother, looking left. I just turned right and kept, and I started writing a book. And the best advice, I'm going to pass this on to your readers because I know a lot of people have books in them. The best advice I ever got was write out the table of contents and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote the easiest chapters first because then it made me feel. So I didn't write the book in order. I wrote the easiest chapters first because then it made me feel like I had progress. And so then when I got to the harder chapters, I felt like I could do it because I'd already written all this other stuff. Man. So you don't have to follow your goals in order either.
Man,
There's no rules.
Someone's like, I wish I knew this like 10 years ago. But that's why you're listening to this episode, because everyone here is learning. And when you are doing this, because like I said, you just have this boldness about you. It's crazy bold. There you go. It's just crazy bold. You have to have some crazy bold. I love it. Because the whole concept of contest, I like what you said about the church sign that you saw. You can't lose helping others win. That is right? So cool. I never heard that in my life until now. I mean, at least put in that context. So I'm going to probably carry that the rest of my life because that's so cool and so true. And it makes me think, is that the only reason why there are contests, right? You're giving something that wasn't given before. You're creating these opportunities of people to have these experiences. So you're the expert in this. And I have to like put a disclaimer because, some people say you can't say expert on shows and stuff. Well, I only say it to my guests because my guest is they're special and I can say that if I want to. So like I said, you're an expert in this, this practice. Explain like how does this work like with people's minds and stuff when you are creating these opportunities and experiences, right, to get potential customers involved through a contest? Okay.
So there's two sides to the hobby. There's the one where someone wants to win something, and there's some on the business side of it where a company is going to use a sweepstakes or a contest as a marketing tool. So it's a marketing tool just like anything else, like an advertisement, like a billboard, like a flyer. It's just one tool in a marketer's tool belt of a myriad of things they can do. So from a contester's perspective, you have to believe you're a winner and think you're lucky before you are. There's no point in bothering to enter if you think, oh, I don't know why I'm wasting my time. I'm never going to win. Well, you won't with that attitude. Right? Now, I don't win every contest I enter, but I believe I'll win every contest I enter. And I call it the Christmas aspect. I just don't know which one's going to show up. And so when I'm entering, I think, ooh, is this going to be the one that I get a notification for? Ooh, this cruise looks good. Oh, this car looks nice. Oh, and even, these gift cards look like fun. I could see myself shopping in those stores. That would be fun to go on a shopping spree. And then I'm like, ooh, and then it's a surprise when one shows up. You don't know. And it's just fun. And then sometimes you can win weird things. Like the big thing this year, every company seemed to be giving out holiday sweaters with their branding on it. I love it. I finally won one. I was so happy. Right. And that's fun. Yeah. Because it's something I wouldn't buy. And yet it makes me happy. And that's who doesn't want to be more happy in life? And then from a marketer's perspective, when you're designing the giveaway, figure out why you're doing it, what your market is, what your goal is. Like if you want to increase Instagram followers, you're going to host an Instagram giveaway. If you want to increase newsletter signups, you're going to host something on your blog. If you want to, you have to figure out, just like any marketing activity, you have to figure out what your end result is going to be or what you want, and then work backwards from there.
That's key. What you just said, I didn't even think of it that way. That makes so much sense. You know, whatever you're trying to increase the value of, that's where you base your marketing contest campaign. So for those who are completely, you know, not in the know of this, what are the foundation pieces that you have to build to have a successful campaign?
Well, first, like I just said, you have to know what you want to do. It's like me giving you a map. Like if you said to me, come pick me up, and I'd be like, okay. But if you don't tell me where you are, I have no idea where I'm going.
True.
Right. So you have to know what you're going. And I suggest the people, don't just hold a sweepstakes for the sake of hosting a sweepstakes, just because every other company's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Host one because it fits your marketing plan and it ties into your goals as a business. And then if it fits, then host one, because then it makes sense. And also look at your budget. There's a lot of small businesses out there. You know, we're not all Fortune 500 companies that have these like agencies and $1 million budgets to run a sweepstakes. I have had prize packs that I gave away when I was cleaning my office. I attend the annual National Sweepstakes conventions, and I had all this like lucky stuff, like everything with 4-leaf clovers and anything to do with luck. And I was cleaning up my office, and I'm like, I have so much of this. I need to kind of pare down a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I grouped them together, and I held Instagram giveaways to give away the stuff from my office. It only cost me my postage and my time. And I had a promotion, and I increased my Instagram followers. So if companies think it costs a lot of money to run a giveaway, it doesn't. You just have to get creative. If you don't have the cash, you got to get creative. I mean, you got to be creative with the cash too, but you know what I mean?
That's like a new way to do a garage sale. You want to increase your followers? Don't do a garage sale. Do a contest.
Seriously. I mean, I wasn't going to give away terrible stuff. I mean, these things, I don't even think I used some of them. Like it was brand new. Or I used them once at the event, and then they just sat there. So they were perfectly good. I wouldn't give anything away that wasn't, you know, top notch. And I even said, hey, I'm cleaning out my office. I have all this lucky stuff. Who wants to win it? Like I wasn't hiding the fact that it wasn't all brand new. And here's what it was. Like, I think transparency is also key, as that would have been shameful to, you know, do that. But it was fun and everybody loved it. And so that's why I tell people, because companies, small businesses think they have to have these big budgets and they have to do this and they have to do that. No, just put your thinking cap on. And also think out of the box. Every company that I could think of hosts giveaways at Christmas time. You might get lost in the shuffle. You might want to host something when nobody else is, or tie it into something in your area that might work. So if you've got, you know, a state fair or, you know, a local annual event that happens every year, you know, maybe tie into that, and that's going to keep your marketing local. There's so many things people can do. They just have to think, I want to say out of the box. But we're always in the box. I think you just need to get your markers out and just create the box.
Once again, listen on Refocus Radio, talking to our guest, Carolyn Wilman. And we've been talking a lot, good information for the business people out there, helping them with marketing, or entrepreneur, or just anybody trying to get away, you know, give away their stuff. But looking out for the people who are going for the contests and the prizes, what are some warning red flags, if you will, that people should pay attention to for any potential scam that could be out there waiting for them?
Well, let me start by saying the first thing I recommend people do is to set up an email address just for entering sweepstakes. That's actually going to help against the scams. And what's interesting is I get less spam in my contest email than I do in my work email. So I know it's working.
That's good. That's a good
And
tip.
there's a lot of free services out there. You don't have to pay for an email address. So before you start entering, get a free email just for entering. It's going to save a lot of headache. The second thing I recommend people do is when they find something they want to enter, always read the rules. Because that way, you know, are you eligible to enter? Is it open to your area? When does it start? When does it finish? How many times can you enter? And there's also clauses in there that tell you what the company's going to do with your information. Sometimes they're very upfront about it and they say, yeah, we collect your information and sell our lists. And I'm like, I'm not entering that. I don't enter those because to me, the price isn't worth it. My inbox is just going to get flooded. Other companies, like the Fortune 500 companies, you see these big promotions. They are not selling your data. They are spending a lot of money to collect your email address so they can send you a newsletter. They are not going to spam you or sell their list. So you have to read those rules to see what promotion is doing what. And of course, then if you're entering on social media, they're not getting your email. So for example, if you're on Instagram, they don't have an email and there's nothing to sell. So you're not going to get bombarded. But then again, I use that contest email address to set up my socials for entering.
And with that knowledge, going back to the business side, are there platforms out there that perform better than others as far as hosting a contest?
Yes, it depends on, again, your goal. So if it's social, clearly you want to host it on your social platforms. If you have other goals, you need to use something like a widget. So there's inexpensive or free widgets, and then there's medium price widgets. So a company like me, a small business, if I want to host it on my blog, I use something like Rafflecopter or Gleam. Or if I want to spend a little money and have a larger platform, I could do something like WooBox. And those allow you on they're called a third-party app. You go in there and you set up your contest and then you embed it on your website and it collects all the data and then it helps you do a legitimate random draw for a winner or a potential winner because you want to make sure that they followed the rules. So once you do a drawing, then you check and you see if that person followed the rules. And then if they did, then you can send them an email or a message or however it is you set it up. So there's lots of tools for companies to use to run giveaways professionally that don't cost anything or a lot of money.
You're listening to Refocus Radio, talking to Carolyn Wilman. And you have books. I know we mentioned that before, but you have books that people can dive deeper into this topic. And one that really sticks out, you kind of been saying the phrase throughout the show, is you can't win if you don't enter. When people pick up this book, and I want them to go Amazon or Kindle, Google Play, and check it out, what's some of the core things that you're kind of covering inside that book?
Well, those books are targeted right now towards consumers and how to find, organize, enter, and win. Sweepstakes, contests, and giveaways. Say that 3 times fast.
Right.
So that's teaching people step by step how to win. Eventually, I want to write a book for marketers on how to run sweepstakes from a consumer's perspective. But I've got a lot of other books on my plate, so I don't know if I'm going to write that one.
Right.
But if you want to learn how to win giveaways, I have 2 books. You can't win if you don't enter. And actually, the Kindle version's only 99 cents. Shameless plug. And the other one, which is a little more modern, that has the social media in it, is How to Win Cash, Cars, Trips, and More. I'm currently writing prizes everywhere. It's a bit behind schedule. So my goal is to have it out before this year's annual National Sweepstakes Convention, which is in July. So I've got to get cracking because it's already the second week of January.
Right. And I can't help but think what you said about that church on the sign. You can't lose helping others win. I mean, that's almost like a golden rule, man, because on the business perspective, you can't hurt your business if you're giving away a prize. Just as long as, like you said, there's a purpose behind it. You're not just blindly like saying there's a contest and doesn't even help your business grow. But if you have a plan to, you know, focus it on something that will specifically help a area in your business, then it's a win-win. And then on the consumer side, just the fun of just going for it. Like we said earlier, being bold and just try it. Like just try. You don't like your book that you just talked about. You know, you can't do anything in life if you don't enter. You know, you have to enter the unknown. It's like Christmas, like you said, but it's like you may not know what's inside that gift, but you got to open it first.
Right.
You
It's
know?
fun. I love not knowing what's going to win, like what I'm going to win. I just think it's fun. And I always wonder, is today the day I'm going to win something? And you think that I win, like everybody says, oh, you win everything. And I'm like, no, I don't. I win like 1% of when I enter. And then when people find out how much effort it takes it takes effort, it takes a bit of effort. It doesn't just magically show up. You know, these prizes don't magically show up. I seek out the contest by using a sweepstakes aggregate. And then I go and I enter them, and then I organize them into my entry system. And then I do that every day. And then some of them show up and some of them don't. Some of them do. But sometimes you win big. Like last year, I won 2 trips, which was exciting. I've never won 2 trips in 1 year. And last October, I took my sister and her husband and my boyfriend, the 4 of us went to Mexico because I won a trip. I mean, that was so exciting. It was so nice, especially to take other people. Love sharing with this hobby.
See, I like this episode with this whole idea. There's a prize waiting for you.
Yes.
But it's never going to be there if you don't try. You know, it's like if you don't put the effort. I mean, this is a wild like metaphor, but I'm gonna try it. Hopefully, it works. You know, I think of a farmer. You know, he doesn't just think about, man, I hope we can grow some food. I hope it rains. Nah, he's doing something. He's putting some skin in the game, if you will. He's doing something. And then
Right.
if he gets a prize, then boom, he gets a prize. But he's guaranteed not get anything if he doesn't do anything at first.
Oh, exactly. That's my point. In some years, you know, the crops are better than others. I've had some really, especially the past few years. At one point, there was nothing happening in the contest community. There was no giveaways to be had because everything shut down. And then they slowly started coming back. And now it feels like everything's back in full force again. And it's almost like this past December, which I call sweepstakes season, because every contest you can imagine is hosting a giveaway. Sweepstakes season was full force. I haven't seen it like that in several years. So it's like, oh, okay, it feels normal again. Things are back to normal and fun, and companies want to connect in a fun and exciting way with their users and consumers and clients, and you can find all kinds of, you know, new products and services that you never heard of before from this hobby.
And when people visit your website, you have a website with a lot of information, contestqueen.com, but you have a tab, contact, and you have business inquiry, and you also have a tab for submit a contest. So if someone is exploring your website, what's the difference between the submit a contest and the business inquiry?
Oh, well, they're kind of the same. I just put different wording because then some people are attracted to some wording other than.
See,
but
okay.
if you go to
Right.
Contest Queen, that's where I teach people how to win. And if you click on the business inquiry, it zaps you over to my other website. You get teleported to Idea Majesty. I kept the crown, right? I had to come up with a name that kept the crown on, but sounded a little more corporate. and a little more marketing. So Idea Majesty is where I do all my sweepstakes marketing and other services. So I've got some clients that I do customer service for in actually this realm. I work for an author who is an intuitive strategist. And so I do all of his, customer service, Facebook marketing, strategizing, all that kind of stuff. So I wear many crowns, as I say.
So this is a perfect opportunity for a business owner, entrepreneur, someone who's doing something that they need to bring more awareness to, right? And so they can go to you and hire you to help them strategize a specific campaign for, whatever the specific reason it is. And you kind of, do you go all the way and give them step by step, or is it more like you just give them some ideas and they come back to you, they need further more assistance?
Well, it depends on what it is. So I've always been a networker, and I call myself the hub of all things contesting. So a lot of times with the sweepstakes, I might not have the tools to do what they need. I'll bring in people or connect them to people that can do those parts. And then I'll do the parts that I am really strong at. So it depends on what their needs are, depends on what we do. So I never like to say until I actually sit down and talk to somebody and figure out
the end game,
what they want. Yeah, their end game. Because sometimes the problem is they're like, well, we want to do this. I'm like, what's your goal? And they go, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, we need to figure that out first, and then we can figure out the rest.
Yeah, come back in 2 hours.
Come back in 2 hours. So yeah. So it depends on what it is, but like I'm very good at networking, and I'm very good at connecting people. I don't know why that's a skill set. It just is.
So someone listening right now, and they maybe just want to talk to you first and get some consulting from you, and they just want to kind of explore idea. Do you do that as well? And they can come back later? Of course.
Everybody does. I don't know anybody that doesn't offer, a free consultation call, and happy to help people, because I've ended up working with people for decades based on that, and been helping them grow. And then other people, I talk to them and they get what they need, and then that's the last time I hear from them. So it goes, it depends on what somebody needs. Sometimes they just need to be pointed in the right direction. Or they discover that a sweepstakes isn't what they really need. They need to be doing something else. Again, don't host a giveaway just for having a giveaway.
Yeah. Two, I can think maybe they're just not ready for a contest giveaway just yet. Maybe they need some other things ironed out first to have a better fun time, if you will. We don't want a contest to be a nightmare. So when people visit your website, contestqueen.com, and you also have the idea majesty.com, when people are learning all about the ways they can use their business as a growth tool for putting sweepstakes out there, do you have someone that pops up to mind, be it general, but someone who was able to grow their brand exposure because of a sweepstakes, that they either got help from you or you kind of did it for them?
Well, actually, I work with one of the biggest companies I work for in Canada is Jarritos. I don't know if you're familiar with this drink from Mexico.
I heard that before.
They're all over the world. You can usually find them. They actually sell them in the supermarkets, but also at any kind of Mexican style restaurant. They sell them. They're ridiculously delicious. They're made with real cane sugar, no artificial. So good. They're so good. And they're consistently hosting giveaways, and I help them with all of them. And it's a lot of fun to work with a brand that's so exciting. And it's not a mainstream brand, as you can well imagine, because they're up against, some of the big soda companies out there. And so being a little bit niche, but they have grown since they started doing contests in Canada.
That's
And
good.
it's part of the awareness. Yeah. So they do all the usual socials and things like that, but I've really helped them with their promotions and getting a lot of traction.
You're like a
Um,
guide to bigger prizes. That's
oh, I
what.
love that. I'm gonna borrow that.
Oh,
Thank you
you can
very
steal it.
much.
You can steal it. I might have to edit it out so I don't spill the beans. But yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like you are literally a guide for leading people to bigger prizes. Because it's like the concept I feel I'm getting from this is even if you don't get a prize today, it could just mean a bigger prize is coming later. You know, you
You
just gotta
never
keep going.
know. You never know. Like I've had huge long dry spells where I've won nothing and I'm thinking, what is happening?
Mhm.
And then last summer, I was having so much fun. I think it's because I was vibing really high. I know some people might poo-poo that, but
Mhm.
um I was at the annual National Sweepstakes Convention the first time in 7 years because of different commitments. And then, of course, nobody was having them. Um, I was having so much fun with the sweeping community that I had the best day I have ever won. I've won 5 prizes, and one of them was a trip. And it was like the best day I've ever had since I started entering sweepstakes as a hobby 22 years ago now. So it's, you just never know when it's going to hit. And other times I go like a month with nothing. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Like it's really funny how it works.
Right? Can only imagine. But once again, we're talking to our guest, Carolyn Wilman. You can go to her website, Contest Queen, and just look at all the different services and blogs and resources that she has. And yeah, it sounds like you not just work with people in Canada, but anyone who has a social media profile or website, you can kind of tap in and help them explore their options.
Yes. And um I'm one of the things I'm doing this year, and I'm very excited, is I think it's time for a bit of a change up. So I'm going to be improving contestqueen.com, and
Mm.
we're going to be doing a whole website makeover over the course of this year. We've already started. We have to do a lot of back end stuff first. And I the end result should be it's going to be even easier to navigate for people and easier for them to find resources and connect with other sweepers. Um, because not only do you want to learn how to win, you want to meet other people, because that is the prize that I never expected when I started this hobby. When I started, it was just a few people online, and only when I started researching my first book did I realize there was sweepstakes conventions, and I went down to my first one in 2005, and I met hundreds of people like me, and I thought, oh, I have found my tribe.
Oh,
These are my people. And I've made friends for life from this hobby. I whenever I travel, I connect with sweepstakers and hang out, and I can't even describe to you how much fun it is to connect with like-minded people.
yeah.
And you're just laughing and smiling and hugging and sharing. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And I do it every chance I get when I travel. I try to meet up with people.
Well, it sounds like whoever's listening to this needs to go to your website, contestqueen.com ASAP, because yeah, this might be a new way for businesses who maybe haven't explored this. Because I think, people might have an idea of a contest, but until they listen this episode and people like you, they probably just have a wrong perspective of it. Because this is a great educational moment for marketing, because that's the key: marketing, getting exposure to your brand. It can be one giveaway that can put you into mainstream as far as loyal customers. While we have you on and we wrap this up, if
Yeah.
if someone is listening to this right now and their call to action is to talk to you, what is the timeline for them to typically, like on average, to create a sweepstake contest, and they know everything that they need, and it's well thought out. What's the timeline for it from start to finish?
Well, setting one up doesn't take long at all if you're using some of the tools that I thought I mentioned. However, you want to have it set out so you can do some pre-announcements. Like, think about it as part of a marketing plan, right?
Yeah.
If you just throw it out there, you're not going to get anybody entering because it's not been pre-promoted. You're not leading up to it. I would say 30 days. You want to start thinking now.
Nice.
For maybe so for example, we're recording this in January. If you want to hold a Valentine's Day giveaway, start today to plan for you know what I mean? Because you need to have, what are we going to give away? Where are we going to host it? What tools we're going to use? Do some pre-promotion, launch it in a certain amount of time. Maybe you want to boost on social some of your promotions. You want to have an email go out to your list. You want to, so you need some time to plan all that stuff out and write it all and do the creative, things like that. So you don't want to rush the process. So I'd say, 4 to 6 weeks is a nice, easy window. And if it's a big promotion, like there's companies out there now are already starting to plan the giveaways that they're going to do all year, including the ones they're going to run next Christmas. Like, it depends on the size, depends on your lead time, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it has to be organized just like anything else for it to have a fighting chance. So,
right. But for small businesses like us, like our size, like if you decided you want to run a promotion, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks is a nice window where you're not panicked and rushing and you have enough time to get all your ducks in a row and run it properly without any, hiccups.
Well, then there you go. I guess I have homework to do. I might have to think of something. I don't know. I might have to call you. But I think it's a great way for people to kind of just have that fun attitude, because I can't help but go back to what you said earlier in the show. I think it was like the nail in the coffin. You saw that sign that said you can't lose helping others win. I think that's so good, man. That is so good. People can just hold on to that and let that marinate. I think it unlocks the door for people to be open and just be ready to act and not worry about if it works or it don't work. Just worry about just starting, because if you don't start, you won't ever finish anyway. So
exactly.
Once again, true honor having you on the show. Been talking to Carolyn Wilman. You can go to her website, contestqueen.com. Make sure you get her books. I'm pretty sure you can get her books anywhere you can get one. Amazon's a popular place, but she has a tab on contestqueen.com to check out her books and the links for you to get them. And also, they're on Kindle, so you can't be cheap. It's a good bargain. So once again, I want to say thank you taking time your schedule, Carolyn, being here on Refocus Radio talking to us today.
Oh, thank you so much.